I sentenced you to probation. And I look back and I wonder why I did that. All right, sir, you're Ernest Sinnett, Sr.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sinnett was previously in court and entered a pleas of not true to counts 1 and 2 in a motion to revoke probation. And so, Ms. French, does the state have witness with regard to those counts?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. The state would call Sarah Simon.
Yes.
And how long has he been supervised by you?
Since February of 25.
February of 25. During that time, the past year or so, has he been required to participate in sex offender group counseling?
He has.
And has he done that?
He has, but he's been discharged twice unsuccessfully.
And can you tell the court why he was discharged twice unsuccessfully?
The first time he was ordered to take a sexual history, the sexual history polygraph with Julie Ayala. He did not show up for the polygraph, nor did he call Miss Ayala about not attending. He's been very adamant about his, about not being guilty for his offense. He doesn't accept responsibility for his behavior. So he was ordered to attend with Mr. Simon, and Mr. Sinnett was aware that he was going to have to take another polygraph with Mr. Simon as well. I advised him to set aside funds for that polygraph since he cannot afford it with Miss Ayala, and he did not do that with Mr. Simon. He was discharged for continuing to deny responsibility for his offense behavior and did not adhere to his financial obligation for treatment services.
So what you've testified to with regard to any failure on Mr. Sinnett's part are both condition 28 as alleged and condition 29 as alleged in the MTRP?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right. How much do you receive in disability a month?
$1,064.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live on in our apartment. Growing beer is like $70 to $80 a month.
You have any other bills?
I had some bills, but my sister helped me out and paid them all. Paid them. I had two a loan.
But you're not paying those anymore?
No. So I'm going to have to be getting extra money coming in now.
So that's okay. So the polygraph is $15.
No, ma'am, that was the weekly session.
The weekly sessions are $15. And how much is the polygraph?
Runs around $250.
And Mr. Sinnett has been on probation since February of last year, so a year and a month or so.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I think my questions are playing our position. He attended it. It's what he's relayed to me is it's always been an issue with money, that he couldn't afford to pay for the polygraph. He told me he thought it was $300 and he just couldn't afford it. And I think he'd like to address the court, Judge.
Go ahead, sir.
I didn't have the 300. I was paying my money and the $25 a week. And then all of a sudden she jumped up and said she would give me 6 months to pay, to save the money up. And all of a sudden she changed her mind. And to the 6 months, it was 3 months or something like that. And I just didn't have the $300. I was paying I was going to the therapy. I was paying the $25 a week.
But when you were going to the therapy, you were denying that you had committed the offenses still, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
When I went to the PSI and stuff like that, and then I talked to the probation officer.
Mr. Sinnett, so the thing is, I recall all of this because your case went on for so long. because it was, we're set for trial. No, we're going to plea. We're set for trial. We're going to plea. I did it. I didn't do it. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm not going to take responsibility. So it's not usually a good thing when I recall all of those things, because I'm pretty sure we had a jury ready to go. And on the day of trial, last minute, or maybe even after we selected, I can't remember. It was truly at the last minute. You came in front of me, swore under oath, and pled guilty that you did these things. Nobody forced you to do that. I know I went over it at length because of the history of all of this.
Can I say something? My witness was not called, was not being called into trial and stuff. I was coerced into doing what I done.
So the problem with that story is that I was here and I was a part of it. And you had every right to, there's no one asked for, I know your attorney did everything he could. And I know we talked about that witness. I remember some about that. But the other side of that, though, is I told you that day, don't plead guilty if you didn't do it, because you're swearing under oath, which means you lied under oath, is what you're telling me. But I don't believe that. I believe that there is something that happened. You did plead guilty. There's information in here. And so the biggest problem that I have is that you're on probation for a very serious offense that you're saying you didn't do, which means the treatment can't really help you, even if you were to do it, because you're not taking responsibility for what you did. I also believe that over that amount of time with probation working with you, getting you with a provider that charged substantially less, that you had the ability to, over at least the time frame that you were on probation before that motion was filed, to come up with the money for the polygraph, which is required. I've done some math. I know you don't have a lot of money, but you also don't have a substantial number of bills. And had you saved just a little bit each month, you would have been able to pay for that polygraph as required. Anything else, Mr. Parker?
Nothing else, Sharon.
They gave me,
Hang on.
They gave me 6 months to save my money and stuff like that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she changed it.
The 3 months.
But then you were with another and you got with Mr. Simon and you still did.
When I went with him, he told me, say, Mr. Sinnett, you don't have to pay the $15. Go ahead and save the money for your lie detector test. And all of a sudden he changed his mind and told me that he wanted me to pay the money for the $15.
So, but see, Mr. Sinnett, what you're saying is, again, you're putting responsibility on other people. I find it hard to believe that they both just lied to you. That both of these doctors just lied and said, I'm going to give you this. And then all of a sudden they said, nope, never mind. I'm going to kick you out. That they don't work like that.
I think what it was, Judge, is that once he didn't accept responsibility, they say, now you're required to take the polygraph. That's why it bumped the time up. That's his story.
Well,
consistent with that.
And that goes back to
Right.
not
I
taking
understand.
responsibility.
Yes.
So, which gets us where we are anyway. So, Ms. Argument with regard to any other argument?
Right. I want to keep him on probation. I think the cognitive track would be a great thing for him. I think he was making efforts to do the probation and do the classes, and I think the cognitive track is a perfect thing for him.
Ms. French?
Yes, Your Honor. From the state's perspective, Mr. Sinnett pled guilty to a very serious charge, a charge of indecency by contact with a child who was, if I can see quickly here, I'm looking for I've lost it. A child, regardless.
14-year-old family friend.
Yeah, below the age of 17, 14-year-old family friend. The state, as part of that agreement, dropped another charge. And yet here we are a little over a year later, and now Mr. Sinnett is saying, I'm not guilty. I didn't do this. Not taking part in the things that he is required to be active in, the sexual offender training. Had he not continued to deny his guilt, he may not have been asked to take a polygraph test. But either way, we're a year into this with no active participation, no positive participation, and still a denial of guilt for sexual contact and decency by sexual contact with a child. So the state would defer to the court regarding a sentence, but would ask the court to make it one that would continue to protect the children in our community.
Thank you, Ms. French. And so, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Snett, I'm looking back also at the original pre-sentence report. Obviously, we had the issues of whether or not you accept responsibility, and that was a 10-year cap, which means on that day, against the argument of the state's attorney and against the wishes of the family of the victim in this case, I sentenced you to probation. And I look back and I wonder why I did that, but I was hoping that you would get the help you needed so that I could feel like our community was safe. You refused to do that. You refused to accept responsibility. So that means you refuse to do all of the other things and take the polygraph and follow through with your sex offender treatment. So at this time, in cause number 21-37107, I'm going to find again counts 1 and 2 true, find sufficient evidence at this time to find you guilty. And at this time, find you guilty of indecency with a child. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 15 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was not an agreement. You do have some rights to appeal. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition will lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term. Read that written admonishment I provide you. If you have any questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition,